Welcome back to Regular Guys Outdoors. I'm Chris. Today we're going to do a quick review of a product I've become quite fond of. When I did the review on this Mossberg 500 Youth Super Bantam Turkey, I think I said that right, I said I was going to address the sights, and I am. I'm going to use this product right here. I like this product. How do you know, Chris? It's still in the package. Well, last year before Phil came out for his annual duck hunt out here in Colorado, I installed a set on this Mossberg 930. They're very easy to install. In fact, I installed this set here on the hood of my truck while I was up in the mountains doing some turkey load videos. They also seem to be fairly durable because they went in and out of a soft case 2, 3, 4 times a day during Phil's trip, and that was an 8-day trip. So they went in and out of the soft cases, never ripped off the fiber optics, never changed zero, and so they seem pretty sturdy. Now to install them, all you're going to need is one Allen wrench, but to adjust them, you're going to need a couple of smaller ones. So let's get this high-vis sight off, and let's get these bad boys on. This factory Mossberg front sight is just clipped onto the barrel, and if you're real careful, you can get it off with very minimal scoring of your finish. Now these aren't massive screws, so don't go crazy torquing them down. There you have it. Installation is a breeze. Now to zero them, what you want to do is you have to use 2 different smaller Allen wrenches, and for your windage you're going to loosen this one and slide it side to side, and for elevation you're going to loosen this one and slide it up and down the ramp. Now, coincidentally, when I installed these, I did not have to adjust them at all. For turkey gun purposes, which is this little guy here, I'm going to line up my 3-dot sights. It's the red up front and the 2 greens in the back. So I'm going to have a nice level 3 dots in a row sight picture, and I want that front dot to be center of the main part of the pattern, and then the outline part of the pattern around that. And so when I put these 3 dots on a turkey, this is how I want it to look, so that the center and the outlying pattern looks like this. When you go to shoulder this gun, if you don't get it up all the way, you're watching the duck or you're watching the clay. You don't get this gun all the way up, you're not looking down the barrel, you're kind of looking up the barrel, and you want to be down the barrel. So with these 3-dot sights, it gives you instant sight alignment verification. So if you bring this up and you go right on, boom, you're on target, no big deal. But if you come up here and all of a sudden you got more of a triangle going on instead of 3 dots across, if you got a dot, 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 you know you're high, you're going to shoot over your target. And so these sights have helped my wing shooting because I really don't practice it that much. And they also help precisely shoot turkey loads, because a turkey load that's only shooting about this big around at 25 yards, you really need to aim that. And just having a big old booger bead out on the front of your barrel doesn't necessarily help with that. You've really got to concentrate on that big booger bead coming down your vent rib and across the top part of your receiver. And if you don't have a vent rib, then I'm not quite sure how you precisely aim a big old booger bead on the end of a barrel unless the top of your receiver is grooved like this, and you can put your big goober bead running right down the center of those grooves, which is kind of like then a short vent rib. It's just not on your barrel, it's on your receiver. Now I know there's going to be someone out there that says you don't aim a shotgun, you point and shoot. You see your target and you swing through it. Well, you're aiming your shotgun. The reason why trap guns have the big tall vent rib, they're dedicated trap guns, is so that when you shoulder that trap gun, you're looking down the vent rib. If you weren't aiming the shotgun, you wouldn't have a vent rib, you wouldn't have a front bead, you wouldn't have anything to look at, and you just grab it from your waist and shoot. You're aiming the shotgun one way or another. You're not using the same exact technique as you would to precisely try to drop a bullet somewhere with iron sights or drop a bullet somewhere with a scope, but you're aiming your shotgun. You look down the barrel. You don't just pick it up and put it on the center of your chest and shoot. No, you're looking over top of the barrel, and so you're aiming the same way a traditional archer aims their bow. They're not just randomly shooting, they're looking down the arrow with years of practice. And so it's not obviously as refined as, say, rifle sights or compound bow sights with a peep on the string and a sight pins up front, but you're still aiming. And so you're aiming the shotgun. So I would say if you're an average shooter and maybe not a highly competitive trap and skeet shooter or a highly competitive sporting clays shooter, I bet you a 3-dot system along these lines would help you out in your wing shooting, because now you're not worried about sight alignment, you're just worried about lead on the bird. Now these are not cheap. They run $45 to $55, so $50 give or take. And so they're definitely not that cheap. But another alternative that I have on this shotgun, it's made by TruGlo, but it's a Magnum Gobble Dot, but it's not the Pro Series. And what they do is they actually have little magnets in them, and it's shaped slightly, I don't know, it's not a complete U shape, but it's actually a little tighter. So it actually snaps onto your vent rib, front and rear. So right here, we got the front and the rear. And it does the same thing. Gives you a 3-dot sight picture, and obviously I've patterned both of them. Now I need to go dial this one in. But these guys here have been shot, and I knew that these clip-ons were going to hit point of aim because my bead on this shot point of aim. And before I put these on the front and rear, I put them on close together, and you could tell with your eyeball that the fiber optics for the 3 dots were parallel to the rib. So I knew that one wasn't going to be higher than the other and cause me to shoot low or high. And so this shoots about as dead on as it did with the bead that was up here. That is no longer up here. Don't know where that bad boy went, but I think that this sight under recoil, it's going to slide forward. I might have bumped it out of the front there. I'm telling you, if you're a casual shooter, the 3-dot thing will help you out tremendously. If not, then a shotgun barrel that has your bead up front and a mid-rib. That will give you it's this kind of the same thing as a rear sight. You've got this tiny little bead in the back and a bigger bead in the front. And if they're not in line, you know your gun's cockeyed. If one's higher than the other, you know your gun's cockeyed. So it's the same rationale as a mid-rib bead, which I do not have, which is not on these Mossberg shotguns. It would have been on this guy. Right here, there's the plug for where it would have been if this wasn't a turkey model. So seems like the Mossberg 500s come with a mid-rib bead and the semi-autos do not. So this high-vis rear sight is a universal sight. It fits anything with a vent rib that you can slide something through. Some vent ribs come up and they're not vented, so I guess they're not vent ribs, they're just ribs. But it'll fit pretty much any one of them. And so maybe those will go on a Browning BPS, maybe in 20 gauge. I don't know. We'll see about that. Let me jump in with a quick alibi. The sights I took off of the Youth Super Bantam Turkey, I put onto my old Mossberg, and so I'll see if those line up on that. See if I get good point of aim with that. Additionally, I put a set of these sights on this Winchester SXP pump, and coincidentally these are also the same sights that Winchester puts on this gun on their turkey models, both in the 12 and the 20 gauge. So the only real difference now between this and a turkey model from Winchester is I have 2 more inches of barrel here. This is a 26-inch barrel, and their turkey models have 24s. The reason I put these onto this Winchester SXP is because the vent rib on this has a little wobble in it. And so if you put your front bead right here on the back part of the vent rib and shoot, your shot's off to the right. But if you put that front bead right here on the top of the grooves on the receiver, then you are centered. So I don't want to have to play with that much precision in the moment of truth, or if I happen to use this for wing shooting of any kind, birds, ducks, whatever. So they also got a set. Well, I hope you liked this video, and if you did, go ahead and give us a subscribe right over there. As always, thanks for watching.